Hi, everybody. So I am so excited to be chatting again with Jessie Graham. And yeah, Jessie, so I'll let you tell everybody what it is you do and update everybody. Just give a quick update on what you've been up to.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting to be here again with Terry after such a journey. And here we are in the midst of another journey. So I'm a coach. I'm also a speech pathologist, and I'm a mom and a grandma and a friend to many. And I'm here because I want us to become more human informed. We've been talking about being trauma informed for a while, and the more work I do, the more I realize that we are humans, and humans have trauma. Most of us do, and now we all do, in my mind.
Yeah,
So I'm here because I wanted to update Terry on things that I've learned on this journey, and I'm sitting here on an island off the coast of Maine that I can only get to by ferry boat, in a little cottage right across from the ocean with seagulls flying. And it snowed last night, so the snow is dripping off the roof, and it's quite magical. And I've only been here since January, so I'm still adjusting. What else can I tell you? I was, up until last week, providing online speech and language services through a company called Presence Learning. And that came to a stop when schools closed, because we were providing online services in schools. And now we have to adjust and provide online services in the homes. So for me, this is an opportunity to connect with parents and teachers and talk about what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. So
yeah, beautiful. Well, you kind of gave me goosebumps down my left arm there when you were talking about being on your island. We're getting ready to move to an island in South Carolina in June. And it's
woo,
just, oh, just the idea of being by the ocean. And you just said the seagulls. And we have a couple, it's a funny story. We're in Cincinnati, right in the middle of Ohio, which is in the middle of the country. And
yeah.
we have a couple of seagulls in our grocery store parking lot. I don't know if they came up on a barge, I guess, up the Ohio River from the ocean. But every time I'm at the grocery store, I have to stop and look up because, they do their little seagull call. And I just think, oh, this is a sign from God that I need to be at the ocean because
There you go.
my grocery store seagulls are calling out to me.
Oh yes, they are very pronounced, star seagulls.
Yes,
They're very special. Last summer we
exactly.
had an exciting experience with them on the beach in Maine, where I was with my daughter and my grandsons, and they came. I was standing in the middle of a blanket with a piece of sandwich in my hand. They came down and swooped in and grabbed
Oh,
it. And my two
oh,
little grandsons were like hysterical laughing, and I was screaming because I did not see it coming, and it freaked me out.
oh, sure,
So
yes.
we'll never forget the birds, Grandma. The birds. You get to have the
Oh,
birds.
that's
We laughed
awesome.
really hard, and I just bought my grandson a book about seagulls because he loves them.
That's
So,
really funny. And he'll never forget that moment.
oh
So,
no,
yeah.
we will never forget. So,
So, okay, so let's dive in a little bit
okay.
to with the pandemic and everything that's going on in the universe right now, in our world. What
Mm,
are some strategies that people can utilize? What are some things people can do to help them? As you just said, I loved what you said. We're all going to walk away from this. Um, this is experienced as a traumatic event, but we
right,
don't have to experience the traumatic effect in the
right,
symptoms.
exactly. And I just posted a blog about this because I think I shared with you last time that I went through a battle with breast cancer,
Yeah.
and being confined to my home right now by myself is triggering that memory of that experience. And I had to go right back and say, oh, that's what that is. This is different. This is way different. But that feeling of being trapped and isolated is a little weird, and it's related to health and well-being because people are getting a virus, which to me sounds like a cancer,
Right.
It's a terrible thing. But I did so much work during that time on myself that I said, oh, this is an opportunity to go inside. And what have I learned since then is to not say to myself, what's wrong, is to say, what's happened. Just like we tell people to become trauma informed, you don't ask people what's wrong with you. You ask them what's happened. And that question turns everything inside out in a good way.
Yes.
Because
Right.
it's inside. It's your experiences. It's who you are. I actually went online and did my ACE score again so I could, accurately score myself with my adverse childhood experiences and say, oh, yeah, you had 6 for sure, And so what does that mean? That means that I had a lot of stress growing up. And this stress compromises our immune system. So if we know that, then we need to work on lowering our stress, right? And
Right.
the strategies are, knowing that, number one. If you're aware of that, then you can do something about it. But if you're not even aware that you're stressed or you have a lot of adversity from childhood, then you're walking around with a lot of stress and you're not aware of it. So becoming aware of your stress and why it's there is really big. Another thing that I notice that happens for me is when I see the posts on Facebook where there's an elderly person in a nursing home and another person on the outside of I just go to tears.
Yeah.
It's a childhood wound for me.
Oh.
And so I didn't realize that. I'm like, why is this really getting to, certain things just get you. And that's why it's one of my wounds. Being separated from a parent is a wound for me. And so instead of getting really dark about that, I'm like, oh, feel that. Breathe into that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that's one of the things that I talk about myself is allow yourself to feel. And that's one of the scary things. I know with me, it was being comfortable in my own body when those scary sensations and those scary emotions, well, at least they were scary as a child because I didn't know what to do with them.
Exactly. Right.
Right. And so, but to allow and simply allow, and wow, what a powerful experience it is when you're finally able to be in your own body and be comfortable with those sensations.
Yeah.
And those memories and those body memories and the triggers. And know how to then calm them.
Yeah. And know that it's okay to have them.
Yeah.
We're told not to have them for so long, and then you have them, and then it's like, oh, now what do I do with them, right? So just really being able to feel that, recognize where it came from. It came from love. It came from a really loving place. And why not capture that love at this time?
Right.
Love for the person, love for me, love for the universe. So that's the first thing that I've been doing, and I would encourage people to do, and trust that it's okay to do that, because I know it is scary. I've spent a lot of time working on it. It's really scary to have a lot of emotions, but that's what this is about. This is about forcing us. If you want to force people are feeling forced, trapped into their emotions. That's all you have is yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, that's that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's just there's so many beautiful, everything is just coming to the surface, and I love it in that so many strategies then for care. And that's where the hope lies for self-care.
Right.
Well, and other care,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is beautiful. So what are you utilizing for self-care? Are there any strategies that you're
Yeah.
utilizing yourself and or teaching others?
Absolutely. So again, when I got triggered by this about having had cancer and having spent time alone, I went back to, what did I do then? I made it through that. What did I do?
Yeah.
And all the things I did, I have been doing since then. So my daily routine is filled with self-care anyway. So this, to me, this is scary and uncertain and all those things, but it hasn't changed my routine that much, except that I can't work right now, which is always a gift. Because you just have to trust that somehow we're going to get through this, you know? So anyway, yeah, so I get up every morning and I follow an affirmation calendar by Louise Hay, which always has something inspiring on it. I pick a few angel cards, and they always inspire me to focus, and I journal about them, and I do at least a 10-minute to 20-minute meditation, and then I start my day. Sometimes I do it with a cup of hot lemon water and honey, because that keeps me warm enough when it's freaking cold out here in Maine. And I want to take care of that. So I do that. But that's how I start my day every day. And I make time for that. And
I love that, because you're setting your intention for your day, of a very peaceful start, and intentional start. I do the same. There's just an intentional start filled with positivity and calm.
Yep.
It's a great strategy.
It's a choice, but it's also it's a habit now. It's just, you know, it's a choice, and it has changed my life. So when I work with people, I offer that. So great example is I've been offering online coaching sessions and group coaching sessions for anybody who wants them to become trauma informed. And I worked with a woman this weekend who said, you know, I have this process that I use every day with the kids, and I can't do it because I'm not with them. And I said, so tell me more about your process. And we got to the point where she finally realized that she was not regulated. She had not done anything to help herself regulate. And she wasn't really worried about the kids regulating either. So that whole idea that, where are we in this world right now? How are we feeling? Are we regulated? How are we thinking? Where are we coming from? So we were able to do some mindfulness, and she was like, oh, I could do this at night when I go to bed. I could do this in the morning when I wake up. I'm like, you got it. Everybody can do this. So just sharing that. And we had to have that experience together online. We just did like 5 minutes of a body scan in our chairs. And it was like, and I had not done mine that morning. So I was craving it. And it, you know, it always shifts me.
Yeah. So define for listeners in just layman's terms what regulation means.
So regulation is your knowing and feeling that you're in a space where you are engaged with yourself and the world, so you can access your thinking. That's my definition.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot, because it takes me a while sometimes. I did a presentation a couple of weeks ago before all this happened, right before, for a bunch of parents at a school in Massachusetts. And I was so excited. I was so excited to be sharing this information, talking about, you know, parenting and mindfulness and trauma, all of it together. And these parents were like, ah. And I got so revved up that I had needed to bring myself down, because I said, I'm too excited. Even though it's a good dysregulation. I'm just, let me just take a couple of breaths here. And they were like, oh, because I could see their faces. They were like hanging off their chairs, like, where are we going? And I thought, it was cool for me to know that how passionate I am about what I do.
Right.
But I wasn't as checked in with them as I could be. And one of the comments I got at the end was, she really was concerned about her audience. And I thought, thank you. Like, I was concerned about my audience, you know? So
Yeah.
to connect with people, we have to be regulated. We have to be in our own body, in our own thoughts, our own feelings, so we can say, how am I doing? How am I doing in this connection?
A great explanation of exactly what it is. Yeah. Thank you for that. Very much.
Thank you for that question. It's a good one.
Yeah. So how do people get a hold of you and connect with you if they want to?
My website has a contact. My email is really easy, jessiegrahamcoach@gmail.com. I have a Facebook page. I have a really large Facebook group. I was thinking about this since I talked to you last. It went from 500 to 3,500 participants.
That's awesome.
And it's called Aces in Education, and people are joining daily. So
yes,
come on down. I'm so excited about that. That to me is, you know, we're now shifting from becoming trauma informed to being trauma informed. And what does that look like? So any way I can connect with people about that. I'm going to be doing a talk for 40 speech pathologists. Actually, I'm calling it a group coaching experience over 2 days for 40 speech pathologists in the state of Washington, online.
Wow.
Over 2 days. We're setting up 4 different groups, and they're going to cycle through. And we're going to have this conversation about what does it mean to be trauma informed? What does it mean to be trauma informed?
Right.
Because the feedback I'm getting from people is, I'm getting all this information at a training, and nobody's helping me figure out how to do it. And there's people all over the country now who are in the midst of this pandemic who are not really trauma informed, who have the information but are still grappling with it. So this is the time. This is the time.
Absolutely.
So,
well, congrats, and that's awesome, and I love it. And I'll promote it on my page too, and I'll promote your group if I can. Can I guess I could send a link for your group.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can.
And then what is your website? Just say it for listeners so they know and they can go there.
Jessie Graham Coach. Jessie Graham Coach.
Okay.
www.
Awesome. And it's JESSIE.
Yes.
And then GRAHAM.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well, is there anything else you wanted to touch upon? I know our time is short today.
Yeah. Not really. I just am so grateful to this podcast. I have gained so much from all the other participants. Some of them I know, which is so amazing. Emily's down in New Hampshire. I haven't reconnected with her yet. Laura Kane's out. I met her when I was out in California. We connected. I just feel like this work is so human. It's so human. It's so powerful. It's so easily accessible to everyone. And that's what's going to help change our world. So thank you, Teri.
Cool.
Thank you for sharing your stories all the time. You're always putting it out there, taking that risk, you're so brave. And it really touches my heart. So,
well, you made my heart. I had to touch my heart for a second. You made my heart happy with those
another
words.
Strategy, right?
Right, exactly. I give a little heart hug when I feel it start to. It's a funny sensation. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like it swells with joy and love and gratitude and. Yeah, give it a little hug. I have to touch it.
It might come out. No, oh my gosh.
Exactly right. Stay in there. Well, I am so glad that you responded to my call out to my previous guests. And yes, you're my first one to join me on Facebook Live, and I'm glad we got to catch up. And thanks again for everything you do to shine the light of hope into the world. And I just I very much appreciate you, and as a friend, as a colleague, and yeah, as a fellow healer.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Namaste. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, friends. Well, until next time, remember, be gentle with yourself, and thanks for tuning in to the Healing Place Podcast Facebook Live today with Jessie Graham.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to breathe.
Right.